I'd say don't tick her off. If somebody is going on saying, I got a good bit of fight in me, leave alone. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah. I'm not going to play with that fire.
Mike Barrett with good policies with Barrett Insurance Agency, Portland Street, St. Johnsbury. Hey there.
Good morning.
Hey, what an eventful weekend with the weather picture.
I was out trimming trees on Friday when I got home because of how heavy everything was with the rain and the snow. You know, I had to drive through tree boughs to get into my driveway. So, yeah, I had to do some quick pruning.
Well, Mother Nature did that up and down 114. There were some limbs that went down.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody at one time or another, and I wouldn't say everybody, most everybody at one time or another is going to experience a motor vehicle accident.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
Me too.
Been there, done that.
Multiple times.
Okay. He's a risk.
Never my fault.
Yeah, mine either. It is no fun to go through the experience of having a motor vehicle accident, no matter what the value of your car is, because you know what? In any consumer's mind, they never get what it's worth.
Right.
And there's a reason, I believe, for that from some of our talks in the past.
Okay.
It has an awful lot to do, I think, with the reporting and the assumption that your car is brand new.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you believing that?
The consumer
Believing their car is worth more than it's worth. Is that what you're saying to me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you just hit the nail on the head perfectly. Let's talk Accident 101.
Okay.
And the reason why I wanted to start off with Accident 101 before we go right back to where you are. It's amazing to me how many people make a misstep or two at the time of an accident. But when you think about it, the adrenaline rush, the concern, the nervousness, the anxiety, there's a million and one emotions going on in your head when an accident happens. Whether it's your fault or somebody else's fault, that is very prevalent and can really mess up your process of cognitive thinking, of making sure that you do what you need to do.
It's that first thought, oh my gosh, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Whew, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Now, how's my car?
Exactly. Right. So first and foremost, it does not matter if you got hit or if you hit somebody else. If an accident occurs with your car and another car, the first thing you do, regardless, is call 911. If it's any severe, you can call any time. They may advise you if you're in a parking lot, hey, we don't come to those because you're in a parking lot. But if you're in a roadway, certainly call 911. If you're in a parking lot and it was a big impact, definitely call 911 because you want to report it, okay? Right. Now, so the biggest thing from that point forward is not to admit fault, not to say you're sorry. Just have general small talk and try to exchange some pleasantries, which may not always occur because sometimes, especially if you're the person that's perceivably at fault, that other person is going to be very mad at you. And some people are more mad than others. But here are some basics that you must remember from this point forward. Exchange insurance information. Complete
very first thing after you call 911.
Absolutely. So you get theirs, they get yours. Boom. Name, address, telephone number. If the insurance is not the driver, get the driver's name. All right. The more information you gather, the more the quicker the process will go. Because you think about it, if all the insurance company has to go off is just this little tidbit of information, it's going to take them longer to go through the process of getting the frontline claims process over with. You know, because you figure once that's done, then they got to go and determine fault. And, you know, it's another slippery slope. There are people who will go, it wasn't my fault. Well, according to case study and according to statutes, technically, yes. Well, they cut me off when I was backing up, but you were backing up. And in many cases, backing up is automatically an at fault, okay? So there's going to be many situations where you may get some angst because you don't believe it's going the way it should, but remember that they are doing what they know to be the process for claims adjusting. But it is detriment upon you as the consumer to get as much information to them as absolutely possible. So don't ever drive away from the accident of any kind without knowing who else was involved.
That's perfect because that kind of leads into what I was about to say. You timed it perfectly, okay? A lot of folks believe, and we see this a lot in today's day and time, I got my phone, I got my smartphone, I can take a picture, everything will be all set.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Taking a picture does not have it all set.
No. In fact, if you're going to take a picture of anything, take a picture of their ID card. Take a picture of their driver's license if they're sharing it with you, or at least put in your phone and in the notes their telephone number because it probably will not be on their insurance card. Now, next step, if it's their fault or you perceive it to be their fault, first, make sure you call your insurance company. You can call your insurance company regardless, whether it's your fault or not your fault.
You have to anyway.
You should. You really should. But a lot of people, you know, they go, well, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We'll just take care of this ourselves. wow, can that be going downhill fast? I mean, that can really blow up in your face because that person could then all of a sudden become unable to be gotten on the phone. You're never going to hear from them again. Now you got this damaged vehicle. What do you do, right? So if you don't follow the basic 101s, you're really opening yourself up to some pitfalls. So file the claim with your carrier. If you think it's their fault, you've got their insurance information, file the claim with their carrier. Now remember that their carrier is not going to go, oh, we're so sorry our client hit you. Here's a check. No.
They have to investigate.
Or as a comedian used to say, nay, you know? So they're going to call their client and they're going to ask and investigate, just like you mentioned, and go through the process of due diligence to determine how to process this claim. So it is a process. It's painful no matter how easy it is. It's painful if your expectations are that you should have immediate indemnification, where you should have an immediate rental car seconds after the accident, or you should have an immediate replacement, or you should know exactly what your claim is going to be. You know, there's hardship involved regardless, and you need to have those understanding of expectations as you're going through the process, because it is a process regardless.
It is. Now, I had my most recent and only accident in the last 15 or so years. That's right.
Is that wood?
Was
I don't know.
while I was sitting right here.
Uh-huh.
No, I was sitting right
here?
here.
And your car got ran into?
Yeah, out here in the parking lot, somebody inadvertently in a rush to work or something like that. This isn't a scolding or a bad mouthing, backed into my car.
Boom.
Okay, I found out about it later that day.
Oh.
And it took a long time. Now, I didn't have a very valuable car. It was about $1,000, but still, I needed to have a $1,000 car because I was the one that was hit.
Right.
And it eventually played out, but as you mentioned, it was a long, drawn-out process.
Yes. And one of the great things about it is if you have an insurance agent that you deal with regularly, that your fault or their fault does not matter. If you have them at your disposal, remember, we're in this together, all right? We don't just sell you a policy and forget about you. We are in this to service your needs and assist you as you need to go. So if you are having problems or have concerns, call your insurance agent. Say, look, I'm confused. Here's what the adjuster said. Here's what their expectations are. Tell me what I need to know. Make sure I'm doing this right, and we will absolutely guide you through the process. It's helpful to have a little bit of a handhold through that process, especially if it's your first time.
I was going to say, there are some that have had, like you said, multiple incidents.
It's
You're
funny.
familiar.
You know, my last accident, I was sitting at my desk at the insurance agency. My truck was parked out back, and somebody pulled in and ran down the entire side of my truck, which still had temp plates on it at the time, but very emotional
okay.
period for me.
You had good coverage.
I had good coverage. But I'll never forget, my wife came out back and she goes, so stay calm, you know, but that's how it's going to be. You're going to get that anxiety and that adrenaline rush. And so it's so incumbent upon you just to remember the 101s, exchange information. Don't say you're sorry. Call 911. If your vehicles are in a spot where you can safely move them. If they're not blocking traffic, stay where you're at for a little bit.
Don't assume that fender bender's covered. Tell them how to get in touch with you.
748-5224. You can also find us online, thebarrettagency.com, Google, Facebook, and YouTube. All Barrett Insurance Agency, and we're on Portland Street in St. Johnsbury.
And on the air with Magic, good policies Tuesday mornings.
Absolutely.
All right. Hey, hope you and the missus have a good Valentine's Day.
Oh! Well, now, thanks for the reminder, Palsy.
I reminded him. All right. Music from Mark Ronson and Camila Cabello.